Oh boy, it's always good to start off the day with jokes. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to Island Tea. Got my girl Kay here, cracking me up, and I'm cracking her up too, apparently. And don't forget, we're also simulcast on TVC Channel 40. It's Tuesday, January 28th. At 10 o'clock today, we're going to be bringing the Premier's monthly press conference. So it's his first press conference for the year. So we're going to be bringing that at 10 o'clock. He usually starts early, so that means we're probably going to wrap up a little, maybe 10.
At least
maybe.
by 10 too.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
fair
that.
enough.
Yeah. So what's up?
Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the regional and international diaspora. Good morning, Jamsta. Again, as he says, yeah, we always start, even if it's an inside joke, a silent joke, whatever it is, yeah. Welcome to Island Tea. Today, the 28th of January 2025. For those of you celebrating on behalf of us here at BNFM, a happy birthday or happy anniversary or whatever you're celebrating. Do have a wonderful one. Just to remind you of the numbers to call if you wish to call in this morning. For the UK, it's 0333 44005. For the US, we have two numbers. The first one, 718-285-6984. The second, 305-921-4619. And our local numbers, 466-0989 or 662-0989. Jam, so what's on the radar for this morning? I got some hot topics, but
You go first.
I got to go first on Daily Dose. You hear? Daily Dose. Not Daily Dose, but weekly dose. Today we're going to talk about diagnosis. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you were saying something?
I was going to say, so today is like the house edition.
Today is the what?
The house edition.
The house edition? Okay.
Yeah, the weekly dose, the house edition.
Yeah, the house
diagnosis, because that's what the show was about.
Yeah.
Especially because you realize this show mostly dealt with people with kind of rare, rare conditions and so on. Yeah. You used to watch it?
Huh?
You used to watch House?
No. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. But I know House. Yeah, I know the miserable doctor. Yeah. And he had the diagnosis even before the test.
Yeah,
He
it's
knew
all.
what it was, yeah.
I was reading an article, maybe last week, and I don't remember what it was about. But I remember someone in the comments was saying how one time they were watching. The article was about some rare disease, right? And someone in the comments was saying that one time, someone from Germany, they said they were watching the show, and they actually knew what the disease was. So
because of House.
No, they knew even before House diagnosed it.
Okay.
They knew what the disease was, and then they were giving the show a lot of praise because the show is very realistic. But he figured out the disease, and then when House finally, he said yes, he's like,
okay.
Yeah.
You go. That person could be a future doctor.
Yeah. So weekly dose today at 8:30. 8:30. The good doctor is going to join us, and we always have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we certainly do.
There's no alcohol in the building, but hey.
Yeah, I don't know.
This running joke, eh? It's so funny. People think like I'm this. People think I'm this booze head, right?
And you're not.
I mean, I drink, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I think.
In your defense, I don't think you are.
I'm just a high functioning alcoholic. I'm just joking. I'm joking. There'll be people out there who believe that, huh?
Oh boy.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. What were you about to say?
No, I was gonna say So I guess you're ready to get into it.
What the hot topics?
Yeah.
Our first hot topic this morning, the letter 4 that was given to the. Oh my gosh! Why does the word elude me now? Okay, the letter of admin concerning the administrative leave.
Yeah, but apparently they were saying it's just vacation leave. That was changed afterwards. They released something saying it was just vacation leave.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can't say much, so I wouldn't.
We don't know.
I know.
DPP might send a detail over here to arrest us.
And I'm not going over there. No.
Neither am I.
No, exactly. We also saw that Skele commences Bastair North Extension Feeder Upgrade Project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that, Sunday I went over to Best Buy,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got to the end of, the roundabout to go down by the cinema,
Mm-hmm.
I was about to turn on and I saw the pylons.
Yeah.
So then I had to go
Yeah, it was.
down.
Yeah,
and
Sunday
then,
self. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had to be going all the way around.
Yeah.
If we went to Rams, we had to do the weird cut across and yeah.
Yeah, because when I was leaving Best Buy, I had to go through the parking lot, the Best Buy parking lot, the one on the south side of the main road,
Mm-hmm.
and then go down into Lime Kiln,
Yeah, come
and then,
around
and then go
take
across the first
bypass.
street by the. Oh no, I didn't.
Oh, you
No,
didn't take
I
that?
wanted to go down to town. That's why.
Oh.
So I had to. Yeah.
So you
if-
came across the road, come back through, and did all the back ways back into the village to get out? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's how we
I went
were.
down by Lime Kiln,
Mm-hmm.
by the abattoir
Yeah.
street. And
Yeah,
then-
that's how we were
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went down and because I wanted to see if Amory was open. They were closed.
Oh.
Otherwise, I would have gone. I'd have just gone west, gone around the roundabout, and then gone back home.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was roadworks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see what they were doing, because when I got to the, a lot of times I parked in the cinema parking lot, right? Like down to the by the road.
Mm-hmm.
I just back there and walk over.
Okay.
So when I got out, I saw them. There were the truck. There were like 3 trucks there and a crane, like a bucket truck,
Oh,
and
ready to do this stuff.
they were changing. Yeah. And I did notice that when I drove down into Lime Kiln, they didn't really have any electricity. So I guess, and then I had to go back
That's
to
why we were on and off.
yeah. And then
Since
when
Saturday.
yeah, and then when I went back, I had to go back to
Mhm.
Best Buy
Mhm.
about maybe just 45 minutes later, and they were gone, and everything was back to normal. Yeah,
You had a busy Sunday.
yeah. And when I went
Oh,
back,
boy.
everything was back to normal. So
Mm.
yeah, so they said they're upgrading the power conducting equipment. I saw some interesting. There's some copper connections.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe those are. I don't know. More. I guess they're changing the old stuff or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. To bring in the new.
Yeah.
And another local headline I saw is that Trump's tariff could severely impact local food prices. Because if those things are going to be taxed high, then they're going to come in high, and then we will have to pay high.
And our very own CJ Warner. I'm wondering if I can find. Let me see. Might be able to find the clip if I'm lucky. On because I always take pains to point out to people that everything affects us, and especially now. Now if these tariffs, if a lot of these tariffs actually kick in February, there's a good chance that
February
things might.
1st.
Yeah, February 1st.
Wow.
There's a good chance that it will affect us.
Mhm.
On the other side, there might be some conscientious, let's say, retailers who might say, well, okay, let's wait until the old stock finishes before we carry the prices up. But I'm talking about the American ones. We know those don't have any conscience, so
They'll just carry everything.
they'll
up
just
one
carry
time.
thing up. Yeah.
Oh wow. What a
Yeah.
life we lead. And Jamsi, remember we were talking about the plane yesterday?
Yeah.
They found it,
Mm-hmm.
but no signs of life.
Also, no.
Nobody survived. It seemed like they
Oh.
can't find any.
Okay, so they found
It
the
done-
bodies.
I don't.
Oh, so that was unclear.
Wait. Let me make sure.
Because no signs of life could mean they found the plane and no sign
Nobody.
of,
Yeah.
which means
And
the
not the
people
fact
walked
that
away.
they've
Yeah.
gone on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold on.
So they didn't say
But
they
four of them.
found remains or
Apparently,
anything.
the pilot was 20. It was him, his cousin, and 2 other. All of them were Martinicans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but they, what they chopped it up to is whether they said, because they found it around the La Plaine community in Dominica. They chopped it up to weather. Said they had heavy wind and rains, and I guess it's a small plane, so yeah. Hold on. Okay. Okay, there we go. They said at 2:50, and this is from Loop, and this is 14 hours ago, a French civil security helicopter deployed to assist Dominican authorities in the search for a missing aircraft located the wreckage approximately 3 kilometers west of La Plaine. The aircraft had been missing since Sunday. The wreckage was found in a steep, difficult to access area on the mountainside. Unfortunately, there were no signs of life near the crash site. So you think there no signs of life near the crash
I feel
site.
like that report is not properly written. Because no signs of life.
Near the crash site.
No signs of life could mean that there are dead bodies there.
But
or it could mean that
they're just
that
not there.
they're not there. So maybe they
start
survived
tracking.
and they started walking away or something. So it should have said, they should have said no remains were found. Or
No, you meant at
remains
this time.
or remains were found or whatever, you know?
Or maybe they don't want to hurt anybody's feeling.
But you know, that gets in the way of correct reporting though. You know, if you're gonna, well, we have, I mean,
Yeah, we gotta hope that they're, yeah.
that's
So,
very,
human mind goes deep into things because we can beg to differ and wonder.
That's reporting that
Yeah.
leaves a lot to be desired, because that just muddies the waters.
The search and rescue operations will continue into Tuesday. So the fact that they're continuing operations, because I just went to the bottom of it to summarize it,
means that
they're hoping to find somebody.
yes,
Because they've found the aircraft, but they haven't found anyone. That's what it sounds like.
yeah. So then,
Because if you found the aircraft and you would have found the bodies, why is search and rescue will continue into today?
You could have said that you found the aircraft, but no signs of the occupants. Whether remains or something like that, which would point to that they probably lived, and maybe their phones and so on either got destroyed or they're not working, so they can't call, so they have to basically trek to wherever.
Boy, they got some snakes and things. They have.
Dominica?
Please be careful. Yes, some fat boys. Big snakes.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not playing. Like Guyana.
Wow. I didn't know. I didn't know they had snakes. Okay.
And the Antigua government and Barbudans at loggerhead over Lewis Hill development. But you would think it's houses they're bringing and they'll be appreciative of it. But I guess the people want to preserve their land.
That's the same thing I was thinking yesterday.
What's up with that?
Yeah. Talk about brainwashed. Brainwashed by the colonizers, no less.
Boy.
Because the colonizers left this what I would consider a covenant that is not really compatible with modernity. You're dead. You're not colonizers anymore. You can't. Okay. So basically, they wanted to have their cake and eat it. They had the island. They raised slaves there, whatever. Because it was So they did all that. And now they're dead. Oh, Barbuda should not be developed. So what about?
Because I know when they had the hurricane, a lot of them didn't stay over long,
Yeah, I know.
They went back over and sort themselves out, fix up what they could have fixed up. They didn't enjoy where they were. They didn't want. The younger generation did, because they saw
stayed.
what life was like. Like, oh, you got all of this over here. That's what people said. The young Barbudans, they were excited, but the older ones, no.
I just hope Gaston Trump puts his foot down.
No, but you see, one of the
Put your
MPs
foot
are
down,
in
Gaston.
that protest as well.
When the MPs from the BDLP, right?
Yeah.
Is it what is
No.
it called? The
I think
BL
it's opposition,
Oh.
not the UPP.
Oh, so they just using that for political firewood.
You know things going this.
Yeah.
And then I see raids in Puerto Rico and the USVI on the regional scene again.
Yeah,
and
I saw
that
those.
story is from the Virgin Island Consortium. Wow. Oh boy.
Hi, caller. Go right ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Yeah, that issue different to what you are talking about. It's close to home.
Okay.
It is about the 250 business that the government offering. Now, hear what I'm saying. You anchor people, you people who build this country, you people who contribute to the social security, the people actually, the foundation people who make this country what it is, the government has decided that those people, the pensioners, they are neither citizens or residents. I live here all my life. A man comes from foreign and he set up shop. As they say, you make one to contribution to social. Like all the Chinese, they got the app showing their money. And all these people, the government has decided, actually, I don't know if it's to thank them for coming here to live. But your elders, according to the advisor yesterday, the elders must try to stretch out their hands to their children to see if they could put something in it. Another thing he said was that there are pensioners who is also working. I guess he is trying to imply they are above 500. You have a threshold. Whether the pensioners are working or not, there is a threshold of 5,000. So if they do not meet that, still they qualify. I do not understand the excuses, but we will remember people like me, because we're going to change the government, you know. If the only thing we can do is go back to Harris, we are going back to Harris. These people ain't ready yet. Nobody is going to tell me, a citizen of St. Kitts, because the key word they use is residence, you know. So all and sundry enjoy whatever benefits, whatever is coming from our government ain't nowhere in the world. Bush throwing out people left and right. But we are thanking them for coming by giving them, whether it was the dividends from the social or no this. I am saying people need to wake up and realize this administration doesn't count. A whole major section of the society, like they say, the thing was geared to the middle class. It was not to empower the citizens and to build the local economy. Money gone all around the world. But your elders must beg their children, if they want something I like that, we're going to change this administration. Harris again. People, wake up to reality. This is real. This one touch me deep here. This is real. When you're going to say beg your children, when you're going to say excuses to the incompetence you're using, and some saying they're sorry, it tells us this administration is incompetent. It doesn't care about its citizens. Their interest is in their foreign interest, and is why the word residence is always used. It doesn't apply to the citizens. We are empowering all kind of people all over the world. We are not. This administration is not focused on building St. Kitts and Nevis and empowering its people. Have a good day. Bless up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, good point, I would say.
What about the social programs they said they have for the elderly? Other social programs that they can apply for and get along with their pensions? Most of the elderly aware of that. I'm not saying they should be exempted from what is happening, but I'm just asking if they are aware of those programs to get the extra assistance that could probably add up to the 250 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, I continue to say, I mean, whatever his faults, you have to give, whatever his faults, you have to give Dr. Drew points for trying something different, right? I mean, no one got double salary in December. You did something different. You gave you a break on the VAT. That's not nothing, you know. $250 for 6 months. Is it for 6 months? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could amount to 15
Okay.
at the end. That never runs out.
Okay. So you know, well, that's. I mean, and it's not going to be perfect, you know, based on the call. Not everyone is not going to be happy, but at least they're trying something. And credit should be given for that. See, if I was a politician, I would probably stay in the opposition all the time because people are only going to remember the times when I said, well, I can't really jam the government too much. I'll give credit where credit is due, right?
And a lot of people I heard that got it, they're already saying what they did with it. Yeah. Who ain't put a little bit on the bill, but bought some food, and a lot of people are appreciative of it. Yeah.
I forgot to check to see if I got any. Well, no, I didn't. No.
You didn't sign up?
No.
Oh, okay. Nah, then.
Yeah, just remember, I forgot the other stuff was automatic, but this one, I have to sign up, right?
Yeah. But then the stuff that you had before should apply when they fact check, when they check the veracity to make sure you are who you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Because I think, remember, almost everybody got the 500. So they have your information and everything. Because remember, you had to fill something to get that.
Yeah.
So when you fill this now, I guess the fact checking will happen. And then the gross earnings checking will happen as well. Just to make sure you're truthful.
Okay. So it's 2 minutes to weekly dose time. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. Get a commercial break, and then we come back with weekly dose with Dr. Natalie Osborne.
Oh, it's UN's birthday, isn't it? Happy birthday, UN!
Oh, today's his birthday.
According to
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
You could win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4, you could get it all.
Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with Pick 3 and $10,000 with Pick 4 when you play the Mega Ball.
You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball.
Play Pick 3 and Pick 4 with Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
Who's there?
It's me!
Your future is knocking. Open the door to home ownership with the CIBC Caribbean Realtors Hub. Get pre-qualified for a mortgage, discover everything you need to know about buying a home, and connect with trusted realtors. Enjoy up to 95% financing, up to 35 years to repay, plus a pre-approved Visa Gold or Platinum credit card with 5,000 bonus points. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/Realtors Hub to get started today. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
.32, it's time for your weekly dose with Dr. Natalie Osborne. Good morning.
As I like to
Doc.
say,
Good
daily
morning.
dose. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning. I'm having a little bit of a headache, but it's always great to be here.
Always.
Likewise.
Having you, as Jamsa
rather-
was saying earlier, he hopes no alcohol is involved here
the
today.
discussion.
Yeah, because we were talking about the topic. Yeah.
Just for you,
I
I'll
was just
find a way
kidding.
to weave it in.
I
because
was
it's
just kidding.
very important that we keep talking about it, Jamsta.
Same thing we were saying.
I aim to please. So
mean-
good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Hope all of our listening audience are having a beautiful Tuesday morning.
I mean, at the very least, we could have some Irish coffee or something. You know? We have some coffee with Bailey's or
boy.
Kahlua
Wow.
or something. I don't know.
Jamsa would not have you do that if I speak like that in this segment. I miss
my God.
Azad. We used to have our tea. Where's our tea this
Oh,
morning?
that used to be me, you know.
That's just a bit. So then
Yeah.
since Azad.
You really think Azad knows how to make tea?
Oh,
But on
Lord, no.
Jamsa,
Azad used to come in the tea sometimes when I didn't make
you
tea.
have not
Azad
blessed
burns
me with
water.
your tea.
Tea, I know. I haven't
He
done it
burns
in a-
water.
in a
Are you
while.
kidding me?
I won't speak ill of him in his absence. There's too much love between us.
I have to get back on the queue.
All right. Okay. So next week I'm looking for my glass
Tea,
of
yeah.
tea.
I can't let Dominic come here again too, and there's no tea because he'll get me. So as we dive into today's topic, as we said, we were going to talk about diagnosis. So we're for our first question for today: what are diagnostic tests?
So, okay, why this is important? Because oftentimes I see patients in a clinical setting, and for a couple of reasons, sometimes patients are asking for a particular study that may or may not be indicated. Okay, sometimes they're insisting as well, so you have to have that dialogue with the patient to ensure that they understand, because there are hundreds of different diagnostic studies, and you have to know which one is appropriate and indicated in for a particular need. So we're going to discuss a little bit about that today. So first we got to understand what is a diagnostic test. So thinking of the word diagnostics, you're trying to come to a conclusion what is going on. So you perform a particular test. It could be whether it is blood tests, it can be a series of imaging studies, endoscopic studies, anything that's going to give you a diagnosis or come to a conclusion what is going on. And it could also be biopsies, okay? So you're trying to make a diagnosis or pinpoint exactly what is going on. So that is exactly or essentially what diagnostic test is. But we need to understand, because oftentimes patients would even go to a doctor, ask a doctor, "Doc, I need a whole body scan." I remember particularly being asked that, and I was stopped in the supermarket, what scan can I get to make sure I don't have cancer? Because people are hearing a lot about cancers, but there are hundreds of different types of cancer. What one particular test can give you an answer to that? There is not such. So based on your symptoms, based on the findings, you can then use a particular study to help in concluding coming to that diagnosis, so then you can have the appropriate treatment. Are you with me so far, Jamsta?
I am.
Okay. So
Despite the lack of alcohol. But anyway.
today we're going to talk about some of the different imaging and different studies that we can use. We're not going to mention all of them, but in our setting for our everyday people, so that they could understand the benefits, indications of some of these studies.
Okay, so what is an X-ray?
So X-ray, so many persons would have gone and get an X-ray. So it's an imaging study. It's a 2D, for those of you who are into that kind of technical science, 3D and 4D. So it's a 2D imaging of a black and white image of that takes pictures of our body, all right? So it is able to look at bones, it is able to look at joints, it is able to look at the lungs, the different areas. You can do an x-ray. That is one of the simplest and the older imaging study tool that we have. And it still has its purpose in today's setting, though we have so much more advanced technology. Sometimes all you need is a basic x-ray, and it's also very cost effective as well too.
And I imagine it probably works best for, like, say, broken bones and stuff like that.
Yes, so that is
Even
part of
any-
the
yeah.
indication why you need to do this. You're doing it if you want to look at the lungs. For example, you have a patient comes in having chest pain or having cough. You can look at the lung tissue. You can see if there is any lung infection that we call like a pneumonia, a bronchopneumonia. Persons who would have fallen and they have a deformity or bend in the bone, you can look and see if there's a break or fracture, because sometimes people think these words are synonymous when we say that there's a break in the bone or stuff, okay? You can look sometimes at the joints and see if there is any abnormality when people as people get older, there are changes in your joints that may suggest that you have osteoarthritis. You can do x-rays of the abdomen as well too. There's sometimes a patient would come to you, doctor, and say, I haven't stooled for a number of days. And an x-ray is a basic, simple beginning tool that you can look, because what you're looking for is the gas pattern, certain things, the shadows, and the outline of the bowels. It can tell you quite a bit of information. So even in dentistry, you do an x-ray, you see your dentist will say, let's do some x-rays. They want to look at all your teeth and look and see if there's any cavity there. You could do an x-ray of the head. Sometimes, I remember back in the day, not too long ago, we didn't have access to a CT scan, and we would get an x-ray if a person fell. We want to see sometimes if there is a break in the bone. Even in conditions that are non-traumatic, there are changes in the density of the bone. You can see if some persons got different diseases, like if they have metastasis or spread of cancer to the bones, there are changes in that. As a person gets older, there's changes in the density of the bone. So all of these things, and a simple x-ray can give you some information. We know that there is some radiation exposure there, but it's minimal though. Okay?
All right. So let's talk about an x-ray with contrast material.
Yes, that's another study of an x-ray. You may have had some epigastric abdominal pain and your doctor want to look at your stomach. Do you remember they would ask you to swallow that contrast? Okay, you remember that it's a white chalky liquid, and then they'll take a series of x-rays, and then they'll look at your esophagus, they'll look at your stomach, they can look at your intestines, and it gave us a lot of information. Oftentimes, though, some of these studies are not the first go-to and not the gold standard, because we have advanced in technology and we have more precise studies, but there are indications still where we can use them. You must have heard of something that is called a barium enema, where you inject a contrast via the rectum. Yes, and you can take images and look at the colon as well too. Okay. So especially before the advance in things like colonoscopy, we would have done this barium enema much more frequently. And you could have seen if there was a blockage at time, you could see if there was an outline of a tumor or cancer. But a lot of these tests have been replaced by more sophisticated studies like the CT scan and like a colonoscopy in terms of diagnosing.
So, but when the barium is given by mouth, that's what they call the barium meal, right?
Yes,
Okay.
the barium meal. Yes, that's so true. So you swallow that, and they took a series of images to see how it would pass through as it goes down to your food pipe or the esophagus, and it goes into the stomach. And you see different changes in the lining. You can see the outline or the shape of the stomach, and it gave you some sort of indication. If, for example, the outlet from the stomach was blocked, you will see that the contrast doesn't pass through. All right. So these studies had their indications.
So let's move on to diagnostics for the breast, the mammogram.
Yes, so you know that the mammogram is an x-ray. Yes, it's a special type of x-ray, so it's an x-ray of the breast now. And we know how important that is. So the mammogram now, we use it for screening. We said women get their mammogram yearly. or every other year based on the recommendation with their physician, or you can do it if you have signs or symptoms. For example, if a woman comes with a lump and she's above the age of 40 and she's never had a mammogram, you want to do a mammogram. You want to see if there's any microcalcification changes. It can give you lots of other details that you may not get by simply examining the breast. Sometimes you can detect early changes in one or the other breast, okay? So usually we use it for diagnosis if you would have seen the patient have recurrent breast pain or some symptom that may be important at that point to get that image done.
And let's move on to ultrasound. Another very popular diagnostic tool.
Very popular. So to talk about what an ultrasound is, so it's a diagnostic tool, but in this case you use sound waves. You're not using ionizing radiation, so there's no radiation involved here. So you use what we call a transducer. And it says high frequency sound waves, all right? They're inaudible to the human ear, and it records these images. So it's quite simple, and it's quite cost effective. It's not as advanced or not as costly as things like a CT scan or MRI, and it can help so much. It is easily accessible to most of our people, and it sees a lot about the soft tissues. You can do an ultrasound, for example, of the breasts. If you have pain in the tummy, one of the first go-to tests is to do an ultrasound. You may be thinking, oh, if I have pain up in the right upper side, do I want to look at the liver? All depends on what the symptoms that the individual have. The doctor can indicate an ultrasound.
Quick question. That thing that the doctors, that gynecologists do when a woman is pregnant, that's X-ray, right?
No,
where
that's
they put
an
ultrasound. Oh, that's an ultrasound. Oh, I wasn't
yes.
sure.
So
where they put that gel on the
yes.
stomach.
Oh, that's exactly what we're talking about. So that is one of the indications for doing an ultrasound. So they put you on the bed. They put that gel there on the tummy, and what they use is that little instrument that's called a transducer, and they pass it over, and it's looking at what's going on. So early in pregnancy, it will confirm that there is a fetus there. It will confirm if it is viable or it's alive, and as the fetus develop, it will look at the different parts, and it can also help in terms of estimating the time of gestation, how long you've been pregnant, and give an estimated time of delivery. So all that is extremely important. So that's what an ultrasound does.
Okay. So what are the indications of an ultrasound?
Just as we said, if you have anything like any abdominal pain, you suspect a pregnancy, all right? You want to look at the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, pancreas. If someone was involved in a motor vehicle accident, oftentimes when they come to the emergency room and they complain of abdominal pain, that is one of our go-to, because you're ruling out if there is any free blood in the abdomen that shouldn't be there. So that's an important indication. A woman comes in, oftentimes it's a very important go-to test. You have a young 25-year-old female Jamsta, and she's in a fertile year, she's in a prime of sexual activity, etc. And you're suspecting that she may have acute appendicitis. You can do an ultrasound there, because you may think, is it really acute appendicitis? Does she have an ovarian cyst? Could she have a pregnancy? Could it even be an ectopic pregnancy? So an ultrasound is extremely important, and it solves a lot of the day-to-day medical issues. It may not be able to solve everything, okay, because some details it may not be able to give us. But it's a very important initial study, so oftentimes. There are times, though, because sometimes you may have a patient or two who comes to you and they're insisting that they need an ultrasound, for example, and it's a quite obvious diagnosis, like you have an abscess, which is a soft tissue swelling with collection, and you say, I don't think you need, because clinically we can make that diagnosis.
Swelling with collection, what's that?
That's an abscess, like you have a pocket filled with pus.
Wow.
So the person may come in with a swelling in their back, on their arm or whatever, and it's warm, it's red, it's tender, and it's painful. But clinically, you can say, okay, this is an abscess. In this instance, you may not need an ultrasound.
Okay.
All right.
So what are the benefits of an ultrasound?
As we said, it's easy accessible, all right? You're not exposed to any radiation. It can be done quite easily by any radiographer or radiologist in the office, okay? And it gives you a lot of answers immediately. It is not as expensive as some of the other tests that we can talk about, like a CT scan or an MRI, and you can get a quick diagnosis at that point there.
Okay.
It may not give you all of the information, because remember, Kortensia, sometimes we're doing studies not just to get an answer, but to eliminate other potential catastrophic conditions, okay?
Okay.
So, okay. Let's talk about scans. So we're going to start firstly with the CT. So tell us about that.
So the CT, everybody would have heard about a CT. It's made so much news in it. Are we going to get a CT at the hospital? Do we get, what we're going to do? So I remember though, I've been here long enough to know before we had a CT scan, a lot of time individuals were coming from a motor vehicle accident, and because we had no access to a scan, we may have done a simple x-ray, but we always admitted them just to keep them close by for observation. But now with the advent of a CT, which is called a computed tomography or CAT scan, you would have heard some of these words being thrown around. So it's like a advanced x-ray. So you're taking multiple series of x-rays as the machine, because it's a big machine and you're being pushed to it, and you're taking a whole series of these x-rays, okay? And you're seeing on the inside and taking more detailed information of your organs. So it's pretty impressive, the stuff you can get and the information you can get from these CT scans.
Tell us about the things that the CT scan can detect.
It can detect a lot of stuff similar to an ultrasound, but give you much more detail as well too. If you have a fracture, if you have something wrong with the heart, it could look at the structure of the heart. It can look at your bowels. If you have kidney stones, Jamsta, it can see the kidney quite beautifully. If somebody was involved in a motor vehicle accident, it can see if there's a bleed inside of the brain. If someone had a stroke, you can see the areas where there are changes inside of the brain parenchyma, the brain matter, and you can identify the area where the abnormality is. If the person had any kind of internal bleeding, another go-to one is after the ultrasound, and you can get a CT scan to give you a little bit more detail, to be a little bit more precise which organ is affected. You can have a CT scan done.
Okay. I see.
So the main difference with that now are the ultrasound is important. That is going to be a little bit more expensive, your CT scan, than an ultrasound. It takes a little bit more time to do it. The benefit is going to give you more detail than the ultrasound. The images are much clearer. Because you see, when you see an ultrasound, you see all these black and white dots, and it's so much more complex, and it takes somebody who's trained at looking at these studies. So a CT scan is much more easier to read. You can see broken bones. You can see a whole series of things that can help you. You look at the lungs. You can pick up if there is a lesion or tumor inside of the lung. So very, very beneficial.
Okay. And of course, we're going to now move on to MRIs. But I want to ask you a quick question. Nowadays in radiology, would a radiologist have to learn to do all of these tests, or would it just be X-ray? How does it work?
The radiologist is trained in
doing all of those.
All of these
okay,
tests.
I always wondered. Yeah.
In most of first world countries, of course, part of your training, you're going to go through a series of these rotation where you're trained to use
all of them. Okay.
You have the technician who usually perform the studies, and the radiologist, which is the doctor specialized in radiology. That individual will then interpret the study. So you would have heard of a radiographer.
Yes.
That's the technician part of it, and the radiologist is more doing the interpreting, using the science and medicine, because they're a doctor.
Okay.
So they use their understanding of clinicals and combine it with the images that they're seeing. Okay. So it's not just isolated Jamsta. So when we send a patient for any study, whether it be an ultrasound, whether it be even an X-ray, whether it be a CT scan, you have to send clinical information to guide your radiologist. What are you looking for?
Okay.
If my area
context.
Put it in context. If I'm concerned about the liver because the patient is having pain up in the right upper side. If you have the patient is having vomits, if the patient is turning jaundice or yellow, so you want them to focus on a particular area.
Okay. So, MRIs.
So MRIs, that's been a hot topic
The
as
dreaded
well too.
machine for most people.
Yes, the MRI. It's kind of scary because you're going, and it could be, a person can be claustrophobic and very uncomfortable in something like that. So it's a non-invasive imaging technology study. So it uses strong magnetic field and radio waves. So it's a little bit different. It's not using ionizing radiation. So it uses radio waves. A lot of those details that we may not understand, that's more of the technical side. So it is used as a layer above the CT scan. Why is that? It gives you a little bit more detail, especially if you're looking at things like ligaments and joints. If you're looking at the spinal cord, you can see more detail. If a person has something with the herniated disc, that is that area between each vertebra, the person is so much more detailed. All right. It takes a little bit more time to do, Jamsta. It's not your go-to in an emergency setting. You have to be precautious in patients who would have any kind of magnetic, like a foreign body, person who have a bullet. Yes, persons who may have a pacemaker, you have to be cognizant of that. Persons who have metal plates and stuff, those patients. So yes, you have specific indication so it doesn't create any harm when using it. But the same way as anything, Jamsta, it can be used to study similar organs and structures such as this, like the CT scan.
Let's talk about differences. So an MRI scan, MRI differs from a CT scan and X-ray. So could you explain the difference between the three?
The MRI is thought to be a little bit more superior. You get much more detailed images than what you can get a CT scan. You want to be more specific. It is very detailed and very good at looking at certain joints, looking at the details of ligaments. In the spinal cord, you get more detail from an MRI, okay? Looking at if there is any injury to any of the bones there that we call the vertebra, if there's the spacing has changed between each vertebra, if there's any compression, so all that details you can get much more with an MRI. It's going to be more costly, so that's going to be a little bit more of the drawback. Because every segment of the body that you do, yet again, it comes back to my concern where a person will come and say, Doc, I need a whole body scan. There's no thing, because you can do an MRI of the head, you can do an MRI of the abdomen. And please note, the abdomen is separate and different to the pelvic. So if you want an MRI of the abdomen, it only stops, I think, just below the navel. And then of the pelvic, you go further down. So these are two separate studies. You can do an MRI of the heart too and get lots of beautiful details of the brain.
How do you do that kind of localization, though? I mean, do you still go down into the tube and...
Yeah. And of course, they would know where to cut off in terms of your specific areas.
Okay.
Like if you do an MRI of your chest, you may just get, in some of the images, you may just get a little bit of the upper part of the tummy or the abdomen, but they're going to focus on the chest because that is what you requested.
Okay.
So each study is very particular. Some persons that are drawback are claustrophobic. You may have to sedate some of these patients, and it makes a lot of noise. Sometimes you need a headset. You want to, it kind of gives you a sense persons get really uncomfortable, okay?
Quick question, the CT scan and the MRI, do they both have that tube that you have to be...
Yeah, a similar tube like that you have
but
to
the
go
CT
through.
is more open, isn't it? The CT is more open.
Yes, a little bit more open. But it's that big round machine.
Thing. Yeah, I know the big, but it's more open than the MRI that's like closed. And most people say that MRIs make them feel like they're in a coffin. Because you have to lie straight.
Hence yes, and you can't do too much movement. Hence the sense that persons are being claustrophobic if you're uncomfortable in tight spaces.
Well, this is a good time to break down the differences between the CT scan and the MRI.
Yes, so we talk about some of the differences. The CT scan use ionizing radiation. The MRI is waves. Okay, so that's a different. It's more cost effective, the CT scan. It is easier to do. You have to plan more to do an MRI, okay? Particular conditions. Not everybody can do an MRI because we spoke about persons who have foreign body, that are metal, like objects, pacemakers. You have to be quite aware of that, okay? Both of them, most of the risks are very limited in terms of using these studies, but they're very beneficial. So if you're in an emergency setting and you're thinking that a person was involved in a motor vehicle accident, and a CT scan would much more accessible to get a quick look at the abdomen, seeing if there's any injury to the liver, injury to the spleen. You're not going to go to an MRI like that. An MRI would require that your patient is much more stable. So that should give you some ideas. MRI is going to be much more costly. Remember, these are diagnostic tests, because sometimes a patient do come to the clinic and they will say, Doc, I need a study, but I have to remind them the study is just giving us information. We're still going to have to treat based on the information that we have, so that they do not think that this study cures it all. It just gives us information.
Okay, let's talk about a biopsy. And why is it done?
Okay, so a biopsy is another form of diagnostic study. It's almost a gold standard in a lot of things, like when we're talking about cancers. Any type of disease you want to confirm, you want to take a sample of the tissue from wherever this the organ of concern. There are multiple types of ways. You could take it via a needle, small samples. So it's very beneficial in terms of giving you definitive diagnosis, because a lot of these other things can give you presumptive. Like, for example, you suspect that there is a lesion in the liver. But before you can put a definitive diagnosis or tap on it, a stamp on that, you're going to need some form of biopsy, and especially if you want the person to go on and have chemo, radiation therapy, because your oncologists have to be certain that we're treating and what type of lesion or cancer we're treating. So that's why a biopsy is very important. And we can also, important to mention, we can also use an ultrasound to help us guide when we're doing a biopsy. That's important. You may see us call the radiologist to come in while we're doing, or somebody who's versed. You can use the probe and help guide you if you're doing a biopsy via transabdominal. So you're sticking a needle in to get samples from a particular organ. You could even do it guided by a CT scan as well.
So, what is this surgical biopsy? Sorry, Jamsa.
Surgical biopsy, we have needle biopsy, aspiration biopsy. Surgical biopsy means just cutting into the tissue and taking a sample. There are different main types of biopsies. You could have an incisional biopsy where you just take a piece of the tissue, or excisional. If you have a lump there, a mass, a tumor, you take the entire thing. All right? So there are different forms of biopsies. Jamsa, you were going to ask a question.
No, just thinking about needles and.
Oh, you don't like needles?
No.
Those are the least of your problems.
Needles, yeah. It's typically the male patients who give much more. to get them in to
the
get
COVID
their medical
jokes
checks.
were nice on the gentlemen.
Makes a line. There's this line from a Sting song in my head now. If blood will flow and flesh and steel are one.
Jam said no, not at all. Okay, endoscopy. We hear you talk about this all the time, but it wouldn't hurt to remind the folks.
So in terms of being a part of the diagnostic tool, we know that an endoscopy is important. You remember earlier we spoke about contrast studies when we did a lot of these barium meals or the barium enema, where you had to swallow that disgusting white barium. Now that has been mostly put to the side. It's not completely obsolete, because there are indications where it can help and come in as a backup. But now the gold standard would be to use endoscopy. So you use a small camera, flexible tube with a camera at the end, and you're looking down and you're taking images, and you can take biopsy there to help confirm and make your diagnosis.
I'm assuming this would be a cost-effective option, if maybe to save money.
As compared to, because
like MRIs or CT scan, probably.
Okay, but here's what. That's why I said everything goes hand in hand. Because if you were to do a CT scan, for example, and your doctor saw something abnormal in the stomach, Think about it like that. Then you would then go in with your endoscopy to confirm what the images show, because you get direct pictures. And then if there is something, you can take biopsy of that. So you see how that can be of help. So here's what we are trying to show the audience, that these tools work hand in hand and they can be complementary. But ultimately, especially if you're dealing with a serious diagnosis of a cancer, you're always going to want some form of tissue diagnosis in most instances. And that's where your endoscopy can see the lesion, directly take a sample. We've got things, we've talked about them before, bronchoscopy, colonoscopy, that's going to the anus. You've got studies, arthroscopy, where you're going to the knee joint and the knee space, and you're looking and seeing different things. You have a cystoscopy, where you go through the urethra, get into the bladder, and you're looking and seeing, and if you see anything abnormal, you can take samples as well.
Stop.
Yes.
Look at this long word right here. Oh my gosh.
The EGD, just say EGD. You remember we've talked about that. That's the upper endoscopy. When you hear EGD, you're talking about the esophagus, the stomach, which is the G, and the D is the duodenum, where we look at the first and second part of the intestines, okay? And then the colonoscopy comes up from the anus area and see the colon and help to make a diagnosis.
Burl
so
has a
these
good,
tools are very important in helping. Go ahead, John.
Burl has a good question. He says, when you have a biopsy and you take a piece of the organ, does that part of the organ grow back?
Well, okay, I like that question. Interesting enough. But if you're taking a sample, most of the times it's a small sample, you know. Yes. So that space is then later occupied. For example, if a woman takes a biopsy or even take a partial excision of a breast, that space later fills right up, almost as if nothing was removed there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The body is a beautiful way of repairing and regenerating itself. And most of the times, the biopsy samples are small, okay? So you don't even miss just a few cells or millimeters or centimeter of the tissue.
So which systems do we have at our hospital?
Oh, with system. Oh, I am so proud. I'm proud to say that. Well, we have our X-rays, so we know that we can do those. We can do our ultrasounds. We can do our CT scans. We can do our endoscopies. We have hysteroscopy, upper and lower endoscopy, arthroscopy. So I'm proud. And we have MRI too.
Yep,
we have. We're not at the hospital quite as yet, but we have. We know we
Is
have.
that what they're building? Is that what they're building up on the northern part of the grounds?
What?
I know they're building a building.
You mean at the hospital?
Yeah.
So yes, eventually we have that. But one of the radiologists, she's invested in MRI, Dr. Clark Byers. So that's good. And I think we still have that on the down by the Boreal as well too. So I am proud. We're thinking overall for our people and for our country, irrespective of who has these machines. Once it's accessible, and all of these comes in to help. Because think about where we came from.
Yeah, my mom had to go to Antigua to get both a CT and an MRI.
And you don't have to do that for most parts anymore. So we've come a long way. And we have a long way to go, but we're making so much stride in our health care. We're making so much stride.
Think the X-ray will ever be obsolete now that we're making so many technological
I like that
advancements?
question. And it's unfair to throw away the old.
I know,
yes. That's a very good question. But in terms of obsolete, in some first world country, they use it less and less and less, but it still has its benefits. So I would never throw it out of the door, because if a young man falls down and you see he comes in and he has a deformity, what you're going to do? You need an X-ray immediately. Bam, you have that he has a fracture. You can identify what type of fracture it is. Okay, is it complete? Is it incomplete? The part of the bone that is fractured.
Absolutely.
So it still has a lot of use. But that's an excellent question. In first world countries, a lot of times they go to the more sophisticated study. Doesn't mean that the basic study doesn't give you any information, because it does. Okay? And then as a physician that's not specialized in radiology, you may not be able to read and get all the information from maybe a CT scan or MRI on your own. Sometimes I love to look at my x-rays. This is an example. If a young man comes in, he's stabbed in the chest, immediately I could see that if his lung is collapsed, I don't need a CT scan for that. Immediately we can address the issue. So an x-ray still has a lot of use. Okay?
Yeah, seems so. So the tech has to know how to use all of those things.
Yes, so our radiographers, we have quite a few at the institution, so they perform these studies. And of course, they're educated in the angle which you need. They can advise the physician which is the best angle, which is the best type of imagery that help you to make a conclusion.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So remember, people like to think, and sometimes a patient comes into the office, and I like to remind them, this is not done in isolation. Is a whole team that's working to make sure that you get through. I know a lot of times the doctor gets most of the credit, though a lot of times they get a lot of the downfall too, because whom much is given, much is expected, but there's a whole team surrounding us, helping us to get through and helping it to make the patient's care the best.
We really don't give everybody their flowers.
Yes, so we need to celebrate and spread it out, that we have great teams around us, the nurses who work hard constantly keeping you up to date. You have the persons who transport the patients to the operating room, the persons who are responsible for maintenance and keeping the institution tidy and stuff. So these persons do need their commendation.
Everybody plays a role.
Yeah, everybody plays a role. So the question is, what role do you play? And we got to remember to be kind to each other. So Jamsta, anything else?
No, this is a pretty interesting show actually. Yeah. I was thinking at the beginning, I said, this is a interesting approach for a topic.
So people would know. As she said, they wouldn't just run in the office and say, I need a whole body scan.
Yes.
They understand now.
Yeah.
And sometimes our thing, which the ultrasound, I do give credit, it can give you a lot. If they don't feel like they get an ultrasound, they don't feel you've done your job or something.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's some persons. You've got a mixture of patients that we see, so it's always so beautiful to see the difference. I see patients all the time. I say, but everything is well, you don't need to come back in. Doc, I'm coming back next week. Or the person who needs to come in and they refuse to. So you do have a mixture of personality.
And I'm sure you have the cases where just the laying on of hands. Like I've been to doctors where they would maybe, that's so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you would have cases where things are pretty cut and dry.
I think what you're saying is that a lot of time people just need reassurance as well too.
Yeah.
I saw an individual just yesterday. He had a lump on his shoulder, and I remember seeing him some months ago where he had a skin lesion, a skin cancer. But he came back and he had a lump. I said, no, that's just a cyst. You can remove it, but it's not anything scary. And a lot of time, persons just need reassurance too. So the doctor is not only working as a physician, you're a counselor, your support system. And a lot of time, once you tell the patient everything is going to be fine, and you're they can relax and feel much better. So
I have one question to ask before we go. Can any of these scans be harmful to somebody that's pregnant that may need, let's for instance go to the CT scan or the MRI? I'm going to use those two. If you're pregnant but one of those scans are necessary, can you still do them or you cannot?
We know we don't typically use any of these scanning pregnant women. Most times you can use the ultrasound. It's very rare you're going to need more than that, because here's what. The ultrasound, and they have so much 3D ultrasound and all these advancements. They can they can see the fetus in all different directions and all the dimensions. So you can diagnose any abnormalities, any deformation. Okay, so very rarely you may ever need to do anything like that. But I want to keep in mind, usually though, in medical practice, we were taught that to prioritize the mother first, because if the mother is not healthy and well, the baby will not be likely. But most times the ultrasound would give you the necessary information by someone who's well trained to identify all the different changes as the pregnancy progresses. All right?
Sounds good.
All right. So it's a pleasure.
Yes, the pleasure is ours as well. another episode of Weekly Dose, and she's going to be back next week with more interesting stuff to share with our listeners.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a great
Have
day,
a great
everyone.
day.
Be blessed.
Thank you, Doc. You too.
Found the sound 98.9.
It's that time of year to win big. Use your Republic Bank MasterCard today for a chance to win prepaid cards, a culinary priceless experience, and free groceries for 3 months. Terms and conditions apply. Visit our website or social media for more information.
It's the sale you've been waiting for, happening now. Discounts galore at your favorite Hosford store. Hosford's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley's Furniture Home Store, Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers, and Hosford's Auto Parts and Accessories. Get ready for discounts galore. Store discounts, big discounts, small discounts, VAT discounts, and more. We're slashing prices with at least 4% VAT off and up to 20% off store-wide on furniture, appliances, auto parts, building materials, and hardware, and so much more. Discounts galore across all Hosford stores. And that's not all. Customer discounts and even Value Club member savings mean the deals just keep getting better. Whether you're upgrading your home, tackling your next project, or fixing your ride, Hosford's has you covered. Take advantage of the discounts galore at all Hosford stores today. At Hosford's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley's Furniture Home Store, Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers, and Hosford's Auto Parts and Accessories. Hurry in! These offers won't last long. Don't miss out on the biggest savings of the year. Visit any Hosford store now and start saving with discounts galore in every store. Big deals, big savings, and more. Terms and conditions apply.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WinFM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on WinFM 98.9.
Yeah, it's 9:13, and the good doctor has just left, and we continue. So, what's next on the agenda?
The days of flying, though, January 72 days turn out to actually be the 31 that it should have been.
Yeah, next week is.
Shucks. Next week? How
next
about
week-
Friday?
Next week is Holy Thursday, right?
Oh! I thought you were saying
No,
next week, because
next
this
year.
is the finale week of January. Do you believe that?
Actually, January seems extra long.
You
this
find?
seems- yeah, to me.
Not to me. To me, that's true the door.
It seemed extra long. I
No,
was like,
as
really?
somebody was saying, sometimes you don't get everything you need to get done in the day because time is going so fast now, Jamsta. It's like being an adult. It's like your time has speed up to tell you it's
No, but
event-
that's a thing. Actually, I read an article about that a few months ago. Said that that's actually a thing. It's something to do with the way our brains process the world.
as an adult.
Yeah,
Because when you're younger, time doesn't seem to move.
yeah.
But as when you're adulting, it's like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
Something to do with us processing the world maybe more than kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess because we have to look around at everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
Funding, spending, acquiring. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's just a lot of things. And you're thinking, when am I going to be done paying off for this house? When am I going to be done paying off for this car? I need to what's the word you use when you're, oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, you're refinancing. I need to
Yeah.
refinance my house. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. I don't know why these words keep eluding me. But I was looking too on the international scene, And I see U.S. freezes aid for almost all countries, including Ukraine, India, and this story is from the Indian Times. And the only persons that are exempt, guess the two.
I think it was Turkey and Israel.
Israel and Egypt, I saw. Israel and
that's
Egypt,
interesting.
apparently, because Israel and Egypt is friends.
But
they've been friends since Bible days, kind of, sort
But I
of.
saw now. Well, there's military aid and there's the other aid, non-military aid.
Yeah.
And the military aid for Ukraine continues. No, yeah, he hasn't stopped that. Surprisingly.
Military aid? So what
Yeah.
for Ukraine has he stopped? Because Ukraine, he
The
has
other,
stopped
the
all
other,
aid,
the non-military aid has stopped, but not
which
not
is
the military
medication,
aid.
etc., etc.
Yeah, but just for 3 months. But Mr. Zelensky announced that he doesn't have anything to worry about because the military aid has not been stopped, which is good.
But I see.
But I think I'm getting confused. I wonder if the military aid. Apparently, the military aid was not. But they said
let me
they
pull
said
up,
Turkey
let me
and
pull up.
Israel were the only ones that weren't stopped for military aid.
Let me pull up.
So it would be Turkey, Israel, and Ukraine then that were not stopped, and then the non-military aid. That's what's on hold for 3 months.
Hold on, let me read that. Because I saw Israel and Egypt, and let me look and see. I like to Dr. Google's. Okay, so. Okay, you're right. Turkey's in there. So U.S. freezes foreign aid for almost all countries, including Ukraine. See, U.S. freezes foreign aid for almost all countries, including Ukraine, except Israel and Turkey.
Yeah, but okay. So when they say foreign aid, they mean non-military aid. They mean non-military aid.
So food.
Yeah, like all
medication.
the other stuff. Yeah. But the military aid is
continues.
Continues. I think. I mean, Trump seems to surround himself with idiots, but it seems as though, for whatever reason,
I'm listening to you. Don't worry. I'm just going through this.
for whatever reason, he seems to maybe have gotten the message that he can't allow history to repeat itself with the Russians. I mean, if you know history and you know about World War II and to some degree World War One, you would recognize that you cannot allow the Russians to prevail. So it seems as though I remember last term he was saying all kind of stuff, all sorts of anti. He seems to be getting the message now, but apparently, for the past few months, very smart on Zelensky's part. Zelensky has been buttering him up smartly. He's had a campaign because he likes to be flattered. But then
don't give away Zelensky's secret,
Well, everybody knows that. But the thing is, Mr. Trump fired that volley off on Russia and Putin, saying, "Oh, your economy is crumbling. You need to get out of." He now started saying some kind of flattering things like, "Oh, Mr. Trump started saying a lot of nice things." So he's probably hoping that by buttering up Mr. Trump, that Mr. Trump is going to switch in Ukraine. But I don't think so, because there's a flattery angle, but there's also the angle of maybe the people surrounding Trump, if they have any sense, they would prevail on Mr. Trump that, hey, you cannot allow whatever you think about, all this money, all this American money going over, whatever you think about, for example, NATO countries not spending enough on defense, you cannot allow the Russians to prevail because they will not stop. You have Russian news TV personalities talking about. Last week, some guys told Mr. Putin he should nuke London. This is the kind of talk. This is the kind of school. Yeah, adults. A war is going on in Ukraine between Russia and why don't you nuke London?
I swear people don't have sense sometimes. I'm looking at it here, and it says, according to the memo, the exceptions were only meant for emergency food and military funding for Israel and Egypt. This comprehensive directive impacts various aid categories, including the development and military support, notably affecting Ukraine, which had received substantial weapons funding under the previous Biden administration during its defense against Russia. It says the suspension also halts U.S. funding for PEPFAR and the HIV program, providing antiretroviral treatments in developing nations, particularly across Africa. So what does that mean? We're going to have more spread? PEPFAR, established during George W. Bush presidency in 2003, has preserved approximately 26 million lives and previously maintained board bipartisan backing in Washington. The directive specifically excludes military aid to Israel, whose U.S. arms support has increased since the Gaza conflict, and Egypt, a recipient of substantial U.S. defense funding since its 1979 peace agreement with Israel. Rubio included provisions for U.S. emergency food aid contributions, which have supported crisis-affected regions, including Sudan and Syria. Democratic lawmakers emphasized that PEPFAR provides support to more than 20 million individuals in need of medication, while U.S.-funded anti-malaria programs help 63 million people. Wow.
Yeah, so non-military aid. I mean, I think for 3 months, that's fine. I mean, as long as...
But how many things are going to spread? Because the suspension, especially with the HIV medication. What's going to happen? Look how many persons benefit from that, Jamsta.
But
26 million.
Yeah, but some people would have some of it stockpiled. So for 3 months, it should be okay.
The fact that it's shared around the world. They say mostly Africa, but it's shared all around the world. You think people have enough?
As long as the ass-kicking equipment doesn't stop for Ukraine. That's all I care about.
But Russia just needs to stop. But I saw something where they seized the next town. What's it called? Krupp. You know, these words are difficult for us English people sometimes. They seized the next town in Ukraine. I think it's K. Let me make sure I get the right spelling. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Oh, and that story I was reading comes from the Times of India for anyone that wants to go and read the full article to understand it for themselves. So the timesofindia.com.
Wait, quick joke. A friend of mine, when I said next week will be like Holy Thursday, she says, morning, Trevor, Holy Thursday is April 17. Sandra, what I meant was, I was just joking that the time is flying so fast that when Holy Thursday comes, it was going to seem like it was a week from today. That's what I meant.
You got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, go ahead, you were saying.
No, I was going to look for the city. That's it. I sent something in the chat. Let me see if I can play it. Don't know if it's gonna. Hold on.
At the Texas Capitol, they are testing these ideas in states like Texas before they take them nationwide. Banning books, banning abortion, forcing every teacher to display the 10 Commandments, replacing school counselors with untrained chaplains, defunding public schools to subsidize private Christian schools. We are sleepwalking toward theocracy, and we must act with the urgency that this moment demands. I know what's coming because I see it every day at the Texas Capitol.
So you think America's going to become a theocracy?
Well, America is the furthest thing from God, so I don't know how they're going to become a theocracy. Whatever performative crap they come up with, like
but their whole thing was in God we trust, right?
Apparently they want to put prayer back in schools. Okay, that's good, but it doesn't make them any more godly than anyone else, in my opinion. But because if you were godly, you would be moving heaven and earth to treat all human beings equally.
Yeah, we certainly would.
Not just the pink ones.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
You heard the sensational story about Elon Musk being kicked out of the White House and put across in the the building across, and he has to report to the president's chief of staff. You heard that sensational story?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised because Trump doesn't like to be upstaged.
Oh boy.
So, and he's clearly loving the attention that he gets. And I think he does a lot of that stuff. In some ways, he's like Trump. Because I think he likes to. Sometimes he does stuff just to get a rise out of the media, and I mean like that the Sage Heil thing he did last week. Was it on the weekend? Something? Oh, yeah, on the weekend I think.
You mean when he was talking?
When he put his hand. You didn't see that?
Elon Musk. But somebody was defending him and say he was just saying thank you from his heart.
Please. Your heart is hovering over your head.
Because they say he's socially inept. So.
Well, he's on the spectrum, as you know. I always knew it. It's funny. I always used to watch him and said, that dude is on the spectrum. Before I heard anyone say it, I used to watch him when they have close-ups of his face. And I said, that dude is on the spectrum, I'm pretty sure. And then I'm sure about 18 months later, I heard it mentioned. I said, I could have seen that a while back. But no, you have to give him credit because it's very hard for people on the spectrum to, let's say, get anywhere near normal. Some people manage to at least, let's say, work their way towards a sort of normal interaction with the world and the people around them. And
so they say he's just saying thank you from my heart.
Please.
And he's not throwing up a Nazi sign. I heard this lady talking, one of the survivors from one of the concentration camps. Boy, it boils my blood and it gives me goosebumps.
Oh, the lady last night? Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to it on the radio while we were driving, and she was talking about how you come with your long hair and all you were hearing snip, 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 because they give everybody their haircut. Have the people looking terrible, butcher their hair, as we would say here.
How old was she? Because I was looking at her and wondering, she had to be like 6, 7 or so, or probably,
to remember all of that. But it seemed like when they were captured, she was a young lady, because she was even saying who was sent off to the work camps.
Yeah, she could have been. Not really
she
that
said you
long
come
ago.
with your long hair and all you're hearing is snip, snip. They send you downstairs to cut your hair off. Because I guess they wanted everybody to look the same. Because remember, they dressed them in the same ugly black and white colors. And
people yesterday was it Holocaust Remembrance Day? Is that what they called it?
Sure. I used to keep up with my international days. All of a sudden, I don't. Oh, gosh. I got to get back on my vibe.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that some people are going to be pro-Trump for certain instances.
You're correct. Yesterday was.
Huh?
On January 27, 1945, the world discovered the horror of the genocide carried out by Nazis and their allies. Yeah, International Day of the commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust.
Yeah, it's good to know this prayer in schools thing. To me, that's the kind of thing that needs to come back.
Yeah, big time.
And Trump putting his foot down and saying there are only 2 genders.
So you go with him on those 2?
Yeah, and a couple other things. A few other things. Transgender people being put out of the military, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for all of that.
But is it true that he defunded the military? Did you hear that story?
You don't need confused people defending the country.
You heard that, Jamsa?
And I'm being polite because, I've called them mentally ill before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they are mentally ill. Sorry.
You heard that he was defunding the military? You heard any stories about him defunding the military?
No, he would never defund the military. I remember last term he was talking about how the Chinese Navy is bigger than the U.S. Navy, and something has to be done about that and all that stuff. So.
I saw this Hispanic woman. I thought I sent it in the chat. She was crying last night. She said Trump betrayed them.
Well, hey, FAFO.
No fair. Oh,
they're finding out. I mean, this was said. I mean, a couple of days after he won, everyone was saying, "Well, they're gonna find out." Oh no, wrong person.
Fairful.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. So let me see. I'm looking for. Oh boy.
I think I
So
swore I sent
apparently
it in the chat.
I'm just hearing this unconfirmed rumor of someone he pardoned was shot and killed by the police.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
for real?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I just hope they don't do. Look, I'm looking at something here. Former MAGA voter, I failed to see what Trump really was. How could you fail to see when the man was telling you? Listen, if it's one thing I can give that president, he was telling everybody what he was going to do and what he was. He wasn't hiding it. So I don't understand how all of a sudden everybody like they're shocked that he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go to. Let's go here. I was looking for something. I'm multitasking over here. Don't mind me.
Yeah, and I also see here another headline: Colombia sends plane to San Diego to pick up deported citizens. And I also see that some persons, as they said, it takes you over a year to get an appointment at the U.S. Embassy in Colombia, which now services Venezuela as well. And a lot of people got letters yesterday to say that their appointments were canceled because of the ongoing.
Yeah,
back
I
and
saw
forth.
that. I saw that reported. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but the Colombian president got in line fast. Apparently, he was gonna send his plane as well.
That's what I'm saying. Colombia sends plane to San Diego to pick up deported citizens. Wow.
That's the other thing I like that he's doing. Trump
Picking up his people?
No, I mean I like how he's dealing with these people.
Who?
Trump, meaning, playing hardball with you're flying people back to their country and your country doesn't want to take you back. That's crazy stuff. So play hardball and say, oh, okay, well, all of your diplomats are going to have to leave the U.S. He revoked the president's visa as well.
Oh, for Colombia?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't say.
Yep.
When you got position. And I'm seeing the next headline here. Michael Bloomberg steps in to help fund U.S. portion of Paris climate agreement. No, that's one of the billionaires. His name says it all. Bloomberg, billionaire. Maybe trillionaire. And I'm seeing the hidden cost of Trump mass deportation. And I'm seeing someone that's picking, it looks like radishes or beets or something on the farmland. Oh well.
Radishes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. And I see a next one here that says DC reacts as Trump orders federal workers back to offices. He sends them home, then he calls them back. What's going on here? And I see one that says D.L. Hughley calls out Jewish organization for not attacking Elon Musk salute. As they said, he was just saying thank you with his heart.
Maybe they're afraid because everybody seems to be afraid of Trump now. I mean, look how all the tech bros got in line, huh?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes. Look at how all the tech bros got in line and started, bowing at his feet and.
Yeah, but look, he ran the big techie out.
And laying themselves over the barrel.
Oh boy.
Getting ready for Mr. Trump, yes.
I have a next one here. I have to send that for you.
Oh my God, look at this.
What?
Google will bow to Trump, rename Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America on Google Maps. Really?
You saw two persons laugh when he said that. I don't know if social media did it like that to make it look like that's why they were laughing.
I can't believe this. Google said Monday it will soon display the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America whenever the federal government updates its official maps. Bowing to President Donald Trump's declaration the region be renamed. We've received a few questions about naming within Google Maps, the tech giant wrote on social media. We have a long-standing practice of applying name changes when they have been updated in official government sources. Or you have a long-standing practice of removing your spines when it comes to Trump. How about that?
Boy. And then you saw the Danish man that gave the bad word to Trump for trying to steal Greenland. The as I said, Danish official explains why he told Trump to go off. We know what he said.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
How are you doing today?
I am good, and you guys?
Trying our best to be our best.
Okay, do your best. You misunderstand us when you say that he think the people them back to work, and you say he send them home, now he bring them back. No, what he's saying is the people them that were working from home.
Oh.
Working privilege is being taken away.
Oh, so they have to come back to the office. I thought was the set he sent home to tell to come back.
No,
some people were still working from home since COVID.
Back to the offices.
Wow. So he don't think they're doing a good job at home? He didn't give them the chance to see if they were doing a good job at home?
Well, I don't know. I mean, right now, a lot of the companies want to make people get back. As much as people enjoying it working from home, some companies say it's more productive, but they want people get back in the offices.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
so that's what that is about.
Yeah, but I guess a lot of the older.
I'll continue to listen.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
One of the things is that I think someone like Trump, who is older, can't wrap his head around the idea that someone could be home and actually being productive. And of course, obviously you're going to have the cohort who isn't. But studies have shown that there have been increases in productivity with some people working from home.
Because you get to do everything you want to do and still put in your work.
Yeah. And then you have to consider the fact that how I think it's not good when some people have to wake up 4 o'clock. You drive for an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to work. And then you have to do that to go home. And then by the time some people reach home, 1, they may not even be seeing their kids. 2, they might be too tired to cook a proper meal. Get to hang out with your wife or whatever the case may be, or your husband, that kind of stuff. I mean,
I was listening to somebody talk, and they said when they lived abroad, I'm going to use the Canada synopsis. They said when they left for work in Canada, it was dark. And when they came back from work in Canada, it was dark.
Yeah. I used to see
what a life.
I used to see, not for me so much, because usually my classes used to start at like 10. I think the earliest class I had was like 9:30, but my classes was 10 and beyond. And like they would wake me up when they were leaving, and it's dark out, and it's like after 4, and you're talking about like a 8, 9, 10-year-old having to get up that early to go to school just around the corner because they're dropping them off, right? But yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. And I see here a next headline that says, think about the teacher that puts up a post that says they can come raid his school because he has kids in up to the 9th grade, I think I heard, that don't speak English, and they use their iPhones as translators. And what also do you think of the Border Khazar raiding churches as well? So not only schools, but churches. And then you see the streets of Chicago all over looking desolate and empty and no busybodies. Now you realize how many people.
But I heard the borders are saying last night that a lot of the people, and I saw it reported as well, that most of the people were actually criminals. Like people.
But how do you know? Yeah, he mentioned MS-13 members being 14 to 17. Some nonsense. I'd be like, these kids are MS-13 members.
Well,
man.
I don't know about that part, but I know I saw
that.
it reported that some people had been caught selling weapons.
Okay, well, you send back those folks. But what about the folks that are working hard?
Yeah, but you came into the country illegally. Would you allow someone to come into your house and just because
I understand, right?
Just because they mop the kitchen floor or whatever.
So what about those that are there legally
give them a
that
pass?
They're going to send back to? No, not at all. But what about those that are there? Okay, let's fight for the legal set. What about those that are there legally?
Well, obviously if they're there legally, that's of course. My issue is not with the legal ones, of course. Come on, Kay.
But he just seemed like once you're not from there, he just wants you gone.
But you can't be badging into people's country.
I
as
get
you
that.
like.
Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T.
Yeah, good morning to you guys, man. How you
Hey,
guys
what's
doing?
up?
Very good, thanks.
Yeah,
You?
Yeah, Kortensia, where's the guy, Jay Black?
What? Oh, he's there.
He's asking for Jay Black.
The guy, Jay Black. Jay Black.
You want Jay Black?
He's
You.
He's been fired by Trump too, or what?
Oh boy,
No,
no,
no.
Trump's his guy. He's just probably been sent across the street to the Eisenhower building.
If Jay Black was here, if Jay Black here, he would be singing joyous pro-Trump choruses and hymns.
Yeah. So the
With a
orange
tambourine
man's
even.
wanting the idea, the orange guy's wanting the idea of running for a third term.
Where?
You see, he has said this now the second time at least that I know. All of the things that he's doing now, he's just testing his power.
So he's gonna sign something
And
that says he
That
can
can't
run for a
happen.
third term.
That cannot happen.
Yeah, you know, once upon a time I asked my friend, how did Hitler just kill 5 billion Jews? This is very Hitler-like as far as I could tell. The whole world is coming down to this man and watching this man doing what he says he's going to do.
Can't
closer to home,
can't
right?
hap-
Did you guys
can't
know that
happen.
There's going to be a conference.
Can't
There's going to be a
happen.
conference this morning. Is that going to be a round table by the Prime Minister?
No. It's a premier. The premier's press conference.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got you. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I realized that the Prime Minister was on a recent trip to England, and I'm trying to find out if he's going to report back to the public as to what his conversations were about. Because once upon a time, I remember hearing him promise that he was going to try to take the country republic. So I'm interested to know if he had any conversation to the king about that, and also reparations for slavery. And that's my basic concern for now. And I'll let you guys do your thing. I'll get off the air and let somebody else come in. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys have a good day. Thanks.
You too.
Well, yeah.
Bye-bye.
I guess let's see what happens.
So are you? Okay, are you? Is St. Kitts and Nevis ready to be a republic? I come from a republic.
We can be a republic. Yeah.
You're ready to be a republic.
Yeah. We can be a republic.
Okay, so you're ready not to be part of
I just feel like I always think Kittians don't have a strong enough sense of self. I feel like there might be, I don't know. I feel like we don't have a strong enough sense of self, and some people will see it as us maybe cutting ourselves loose from something greater, and that somehow that there's some danger inherent in not having the king, the so-called king, I should say, as the head of state, and that somehow that makes us less than because I don't know. Yeah, we're a messed up people.
Go ahead.
Let's take a quick break and come back. And hear from Rams.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always
run things are on we. Buster, Buster, living color, do it differently. Buster, Buster, lads and in charge like for the party. Buster, Buster, we set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste, Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster.
Hey, we got some interesting comments there in the chat, but let's take this call first. Then listen to some of these comments. Caller, go right ahead. It's okay. We missed that one, so let's. Okay, you wanna?
Okay, I'm going to read the first one. It says, when you deport the migrants, all of the jobs picking vegetables, crops will become black jobs. We've come full circle. Oh, boy. Yep. Oh, boy. Look at that. Oh, my gosh.
That's funny. So Glenn says, I thought you were going to read that one. Working from home.
No,
has
my
lots
thing had time out, so I had to go back.
Yeah, that's a good one. Working from home has lots of benefits. The employee saves on daily commute for real.
Gas.
Gas,
Tolls.
tolls, wear and tear, child care. Plus, the employer for some businesses can save on building maintenance, light bills, lease, insurance, and other expenses.
That's a excellent point.
And then Cleo says, y'all she doesn't mean us, of course. It was someone who mentioned it. Y'all just repeat all kind of nonsense. You know by law he cannot run no third term. Every stupid thing y'all repeat. For real, Cleo, I'm with you. Because there's no way they're gonna allow that to happen. I don't care what Trump.
Remember,
Trump
he told
thinks.
his people, come out and vote. After that, they won't have to vote again.
Call.
Wow.
Caller. Hey.
Caller, good morning.
Hey, go ahead.
How are you guys doing today?
We're doing
good. Yourself?
I'm here listening to Jamsta saying that we're not self-aware of our awareness for to go to a republic.
No, not self-aware. I said we don't have a big enough sense of self. That's what I mean.
Right. Okay.
We don't have.
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
We don't inhabit our sense of self the way the Jamaicans do, the way the Antiguans do, the way the Bajans do. If we did, we would be. If we did, we would be we would be in a much better position. Let me put it that way.
Jamsta.
Yeah.
I'll just speak for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not like that. And I'm
neither am I, but I still say we because I mean the collective we. Because I know I'm definitely not like that. Right.
But anyway, I was saying that I'm going to go to the government position. I'm saying that you say that, but I'm saying that if we attach to something bigger and we have oversight and our leaders cheat the country this way, could you imagine if we was a republic with no oversight?
How
government leaders will cheat the country?
If they say that again?
We attach to something bigger than us. We attach to England.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oversight, right?
Because
have oversight. They have oversight, and our leaders cheat us this way. Could you imagine when we had nobody to look over us?
Yeah, so you're saying that we're not. But see, that's what I'm saying. You're saying we're not mature enough to cut the umbilical cord, as symbolic as it is. Cut the symbolic umbilical cord to the UK and operate on our own. That's what you're saying. So you sort of contradicting yourself.
No, but I'm saying is that we have oversight with England looking over us, right? Looking over the country.
You know bad. You know how bad that sounds. You know how bad that sounds. You know how bad that sounds.
But what I'm saying, we are independent now, right? And our politicians treat us this way, treat the country this way. Could you imagine if we was a republic with nobody to say anything?
You would have a president.
But again, we have a prime minister, and we have a prime minister, we have a president. So when you get a president, where you going to get a president from that's going to be independent? We have a two-party system.
Well, say,
Every party going there going for themselves. They don't go in there for the country. They're not forward thinking.
You have a point in that respect, but so that means we should remain we should remain British subjects because of all this?
No, we should not remain, but we need to grow. And we need to grow when our leaders them will be able to put the country before self. That's what I'm saying. Until they're able to put the country before self, we can't go down that road.
But don't you think we can make them aware of what is missing? Like now you're saying what you're saying. I'm sure the powers that be, somebody's listening. Don't you think we can make them aware that this is what we need to do before we can get where we need to get? Because Barbados was the latest instance of becoming a republic, right?
Yeah.
So you think we're not capable?
But look at the Barbados leader continue to the single leader.
Oh boy.
Not gonna get it. You're not gonna get any disagreement from me on that.
But this is what I'm saying. Until our leaders are sure that they're independent, where they can make decisions. Like take for instance, the AG, right? Should not be representing the government. The AG should be representing the people in the court, not the government.
Okay.
Well, you can't have that because.
Go ahead. You can finish up because we're gonna close out here.
Until the people have the representative that they have. Or like the AG should not be appointed by the government. The AG should run for his position. So he represent the people, represent the country, not the government, not the politician them.
Okay.
They're not independent in it. So that's the reason why we can't do that, because every man who inside that government is for themselves until they're in opposition.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I mean, it's sort of. Well, I might have said it's two separate issues, but everything is kind of interconnected. I mean, Barbados is
anyway,
our
we
newest
need forward thinking. We
yes,
need forward thinking leaders.
Absolutely. Our Barbados is a republic. Guyana is a republic. Trinidad is a republic. Dominica is a republic. And those
Trinidad, Guyana,
those countries are run.
Those are vintage republics.
Yeah, but I think that they seem to be doing a pretty good job generally. I mean, no country is perfect, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job. Barbados seems to be doing.
To me, most of them are getting there,
yeah,
including my country. I would say now with the discovery of the oil, they're getting there.
Yeah.
Because before that, people used to say, "Oh, things hard." Or whatever. I was a child, things wasn't hard for me. My parents made life easy for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and that's why they say a lot of people migrated from Guyana too. That not being my case, my dad migrated, so I didn't have a choice. But to make better, because at one time Guyana was experiencing brain drain because all the educated nurses and doctors, England and Canada and the US were getting them left, right. I can't say stealing them. They were asking for them and they were going because it was.
Do you think people are moving back?
No, in their older age, but
really?
I won't say. I'll ask my friend about people of my age. I don't think.
I asked someone and he said that some people were moving back. That was
but older people. Yeah, like I would say,
so you don't
60s
think
and
young
stuff.
people would move back?
Right now, no, because I know some people who haven't moved back.
Okay.
They've stayed where they've. I have a friend that she's from there, but she's since made a life in Antigua, where she has a house and everything in Antigua. She hasn't moved back to Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think still, if you have a good job somewhere else where the exchange is better than what you would get in Ghana, they're staying out there. But I'll get the data on who is moving back to Ghana. I'll check that out. Have it for the next show for you. I don't want us to miss the starting, as you said, of the Premier's press conference.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap up here. So, folks, we're going to be back tomorrow. We got the Premier Brantley's press conference that should be starting any minute. So I'm gonna go set up for that. Come back over. You can tune in winmediaskn.com, and we'll also be streaming the video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So come back and catch us, and me and Kay will be back with you tomorrow. Have a great day, Kay.
Got this feeling to high five the sun.